Yes, guys. So, just looking into your total daily energy expenditure. So, during this time, there's probably going to be a lot of people worried about maybe gaining some weight. I mean, it's probably not the biggest concern when there's a pandemic in terms of a virus outbreak, but there may be some people worried about maybe putting on some extra pounds, and this could go on for 2, 3, 4 months. We don't know. So, as the lockdown gets more serious, we may find ourselves being restricted to going outdoors at all. Very minimal movement outdoors. This may lead to a lot of people being inside quite a lot of the day. So if you look at your total daily energy expenditure, it's broken down into four main components. So component one is your basal metabolic rate. So that's 70% of your energy expenditure roughly comes from just being alive. So if I was to wake up and do nothing all day, 70% of my energy will still be expended from just being me. So that's fine, that's going to stay the same. We've got no issues there. Your basal metabolic rate won't change too much over this time. So we're cool, that's one. Number two, you're going to have your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That is your movement, just doing daily working tasks. And that's what a lot of people talk about. Let's get your NEAT higher, let's climb the stairs, let's not sit down, on the tube. I don't get the tube anymore. Let's just do lots of working tasks on our feet, and you're going to burn a lot of calories. You're going to expend a lot more energy from just moving around. That is likely to drop a lot in the next few months and few weeks. So if you were doing 10,000 steps a day, you're now doing 2,000 steps a day. It's come down by 80%. And actually, if you look at how much it makes up your total energy expenditure, you've got 15% roughly will come from your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So it can be quite a lot of calories you're not actually burning anymore from being at home. And that's when you might need to start thinking about maybe I shouldn't have as much food. Maybe I can reduce my intake of food during this time. If you want to maintain your body weight and not put on excess pounds, that is probably something I would advise. Possibly reducing one meal. For me personally, I eat more when I'm at work. When I'm at home, especially in this weather, I eat less, which is fine, and that will balance out how much exercise I'm actually doing. So that's your first two areas. You've got basal metabolic rate, that isn't going to change too much. You've got your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, about 15% of your energy expenditure total. That will probably will change. You've then got your thermo effect of food. So that's how many calories you'll burn from eating food. We know protein, it has a higher thermo effect compared to carbs and fats already, hence why eating more protein is beneficial when trying to lose weight. In this time with rations of food, you might not be able to have the same amount of food, that's fine. In terms of the same quality, maybe your thermo effect might change slightly, but it's probably not going to change hugely. We're looking minimal anyway. And in terms of your percentage, it's going to come about 10%. You're likely to still have quite a bit in terms of the thermo effect of the food intake. And then your final one is your exercise activity thermogenesis. So that's the energy you expend while actually exercising. It's about 5% of your total. It's hardly anything at all. So in this time, my biggest advice to you, if you want to train, try and train for some strength benefits. Try and preserve some lean muscle tissue. The best way to do that is by doing some movements. I'm going to post some of my workouts online over the next few days. Ways to train at home without doing these really high intensity exercises. If you want to do high intensity, that's completely up to you. It's great. It's still going to give you some mental health benefits. It's still going to get your heart rate higher. It's not going to burn that many calories, and it's probably not going to offset what you may end up putting on in terms of weight if you're still eating the same and doing some high intensity. It's not going to make a huge difference because your NEAT will be so far down compared to normal. But if you do some resistance-based training, even body weight, which we can take you through, that's still going to really benefit you in this time. It's going to keep your muscles strong. It's going to keep the muscle tissue you have already gained from training there, and that's very beneficial not only to your basal metabolic rate anyway, but also to when you go back into training, you're going to still feel strong and still be able to do what you did before to that extent. So that's a little science lesson and taking you through your total energy expenditure. At the end of the day, we're in a bit of a crisis as a world right now. If you do put on excess weight, it doesn't really matter. Like, who cares? There's bigger things to worry about than maybe putting a few extra pounds. But that's why I am saying let's try and train for strength. Let's try and keep your strength there, because that's going to make a big difference in terms of your health going forward. So that's my sort of big advice to you guys. Keep working hard in this lockdown. Keep positive as much as you can. And if you're training, smash it, guys. Have a great one.